I would have many questions for this man, if only he understood.
Please tell me you speak English. I'm Detective Carter. Do you speak any English? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
I would have many questions for this man, if only he understood.
Lord Nobunaga, I do understand you.
All of a sudden you speaking English now, huh?
A little.
A little my ass, you lied to me.
How's it going, everybody? Hope you're doing well. Look, I saw this clip from Luke Stevens and I thought to myself, I've been telling my friends about this feature since I heard about it, and I love it. So why didn't I think about making a video? A bit of an oversight on my part there, but anyway, let me throw in my 2 cents about this Canon mode feature. Quickly, before we start, what is a Canon mode? Very simply, it's a toggle in settings for an RPG in which all of your choices are made for you so that you get the true Canon story. Now, I know you may be thinking, it's an RPG with role-playing and choices have consequences. Why would I want to turn that off? Well, that's a very good question, and that's something I'd like to tackle a bit in this video. First, let's start with why this actually fits Assassin's Creed as a franchise specifically very well. AC has had a problem with maintaining a canon story since Odyssey, where they made the stupid decision to have 2 protagonist options with Alexios and Cassandra. Now look, I have no problem with a female lead, but if you wanted to have a female lead, just make one. There's no point in trying to shoehorn Alexios into the game just so that it can sell well. And if you really need him for the game to sell well, then maybe you should reconsider who the canon character actually is. Same as with the male and female Eivor. Now, I played Cassandra for my singular playthrough of Odyssey, and for me the story was fine. I'm not sure what the canon ending was meant to be for the story, but I got the quote-unquote the happy ending. For Valhalla, I chose the male Eivor, and in my opinion, that is the right choice because the female one does not give the right vibe for this brutal screaming Viking. And yeah, you can call me sexist or whatever, but it's true. And you know what? I liked Eivor, so sue me. But to get back on track, these games having these choices and having different endings could and has impacted the continuity of the series for players. It's a game that's whole premise is around you accessing direct memories of ancestors, and I guess for the new ones, accessing the memories of anybody willy-nilly, because screw a good modern day story apparently. And for me, I can't justify this gender swap being a glitch in the animus or being an anomaly, because that puts into question everything in the game, and that makes the search for pieces of Eden really irrelevant if you can't trust the animus. So a canon mode, a clear, concise story established during your playthrough that is not something you learn of 2 years after launch that you may or may not have played the right character. Yeah, that would be dope. And I don't care about this whole RPG narrative because that just doesn't fit in with the franchise that's meant to be telling a story of history, not of real history. I'm not going to dig into that with the whole AC Shadows thing, that's a different controversy, but in the correct history in the context of the Assassin's Creed universe. Now, of course, picking agenda is a bit different to picking dialogue, but I think the whole point stands. If you want something to be represented the way it was told, as it was in the past, then having a canon mode is perfect, and it makes the animus more true to what it should be. Now, of course, you could always just do 2 playthroughs, one without canon mode and one with. That's up to you. Similarly, if you don't like the idea of a canon mode and you want the choices you made to be what you made and for that to have consequence, go ahead, that's your prerogative. You understand it may not line up with the next game, and that's fine. That's entirely up to you. At the end of the day, it's another choice, and that is not a bad or a negative thing. So a canon mode can fit a franchise such as Assassin's Creed very well. But what about other games, and maybe how could we improve this concept or this idea? Because there are rightful concerns that this won't work or make sense for every RPG, and that's 100% correct. This would totally ruin games such as Baldur's Gate 3. But what if for some games we could be a bit more flexible? What if it wasn't all the way on or all the way off? Let's take a Witcher 3 for example, right? One of the best RPGs of all time, one of my favorite games of all time. And we look at The Witcher 3 and we know we're about to head into The Witcher 4. I can tell you the choices that you made as an individual and the choices that I made as an individual are likely to have led to a different ending, or at least led to a different story as we played through it. So how do you continue this cohesive story into The Witcher 4? Well, firstly, I'd like to see what CD Projekt Red does about that. But what if there was an established canon ending in The Witcher 3? What if we could have a canon ending where certain choices of high effect are made for you throughout the game to reach this ending or establish set lore for the game, while more miscellaneous options, you know, these options that are just left open for dialogue or for small questings here and there throughout the world, these are left for you to decide, and they will still have consequence in the game world, but just not on a high level or a storytelling level that's going to impact future games or the ending of the game. So yeah, that's my idea. Have a mixed hybrid canon mode so that the story you play will line up with the next game and will line up with what should be right for the world, but you can still enjoy those elements of consequence for side quests and everything in the world. So yeah, that's my whole thoughts on the canon mode. Please let me know yours down in the comments below. If you're going to play Shadows, are you going to use the feature, or are you just not going to bother with it? And do you think there is an opportunity to implement it into more RPGs? And lastly, if you did happen to enjoy the video, please consider hitting that subscribe button. But most importantly, have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you in the next one.